younger, it's like, oh, it's just his skin on something, you know, like that would be weird for me.
Yeah. I ask about the samples because one, the uncut because
but that's why I was going to try to treat him the whole time. And I have a. I know. I literally thought that. I was like, fuck. I knew, and it was funny because I knew. I like had thought about it and I found that. So yeah, that came up out of nowhere. That thing between his pad, his GI just got back to normal.
Great.
But also his diet's been off because I think part of me has been kind of floundering with his diet because I'm like, keep it as it. What should I change? Should I, like I've just been like. It's been very basic, but I actually am worried he's not getting enough. But then, bye Joe, have fun. But like, he's hungry, he has an appetite. I'm also trying to give him more smaller meals. And a lot of my questions are about like, how we're utilizing the meds. Because part of me is like one, he's got kind of an allergy thing, so it's in his groin again. He had
the season, allergens are like really high right now.
So I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
That pen now. And I don't know, his energy when he sleeps like he's like, you know, like when dogs like roll their like third eyelid.
Yeah.
He's like doing that like a lot more than he used to. But he wants to walk. He wants to play. He's been very needy with me, which I think is probably not my fault.
He's like, are you okay? You're acting
because me just like staring at him constantly, and he's like, okay.
Can I help you?
And then like he does, like he very much wants to be with me. But I mean, it's not like I've really changed anything about his lifestyle. Like he's doing all the same things. But I think that's where a lot of my questions lie are, like, I think in most of it, we're just like, stay in the course. I'm doing what I've always done, but I just want to like clarify, and then I think I want to know more about, I feel like I'm finally ready to have that conversation of the decline, and then I also want to talk about, I don't think I want that on video, I want to talk about like after stuff.
Okay.
So yeah.
Just that.
Yeah, just those things. That's it. Just that.
Really good.
Doesn't he look so good?
We would not know he had this if he hadn't had that weird, unexplainable bout of vomiting.
Honestly, thank God.
Right?
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Because
like,
otherwise,
thank goodness we found out so that we could at least have a plan in place.
Because he would have just like sharp declined, right? Like it would have just been.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have been a slow.
Okay. It's hard to. The hard thing about some of these internal tumors is we don't have signs until they're very advanced, unless you find it incidentally for other reasons, which is one of the reasons we do the screening ultrasounds like you've done in the past. Right. Because there just aren't a lot of early signs. Even on blood work, you know, we just wouldn't see it. Same thing in humans. And so there's a big conversation about when do we do screening tests versus not. You know, women get mammograms, prostate screenings, those kind of things, because there just aren't that many signs until it's everywhere. So great that we found it when we did. Yep. Great that we have this information. Yep. Crummy that it's something super weird and obscure, but that tracks. Have you heard the rule of threes in veterinary medicine? Between owner, animal, and disease, if two of them are good, one of them will be terrible.
Cool. Okay.
So like really nice owner, really nice dog, terrible disease.
Terrible disease. Well, that tracks.
Really nice owner, like dog's not that sick, meanest dog alive.
Right. There's one.
We'll live forever.
Yeah. Those are the dogs that, yeah. And I mean, I literally have said that a few times where I'm just like, he would go and get some fucking freak ass fucking cancer that, and also this is back too, which I think, I mean, we know that's like an autoimmune thing probably, or like a version of Panis, the red dot is back in a different spot. So I've just been, I have the steroid drops, I have just been putting that in.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not gonna put it all of it. Like,
yes.
I was like, I have the drops. I mean, it's not like I probably.
I don't think there's any contraindication with anything else that he's on.
Okay.
The drops. Okay.
Also, look at you being pretty good for your needling. Look at you.
He's been actually quite good. I haven't wanted to jinx it. I'm just
This is the one. Sarah, the one time. I'm just going, dude.
He hasn't yelled yet.
Going.
So.
Look at you holding that Sphinx down too. Jesus, bud.
So, from my perspective, I don't know that we have to change a lot. I think The only thing that's really changing now is our mindset towards his care. Whereas before it was, let's do everything. Now the question is, what is the benefit of it versus the risk of it to him, both from a health perspective and a quality of life perspective? Because there's a lot of things we could do,
Right.
that we're probably not going to do because it's not beneficial in the long run for his quality of life and his overall well-being. And so that's what's making it different. So, like, I don't think we need to change anything in his diet necessarily, unless we think that it would make him happier.
Okay. Like, do you think at this point, I haven't gotten him back on the raw, and I was like, well, maybe I need to do it lightly. Because I always knew, like, as a senior dog, I probably was going to have to start going towards lightly cooked and that. Do you think, like, I mean, I have a theory. I think they all have, like, had a GI thing. And, like, it's passing through all of them. Because he then got diarrhea.
Oh, okay.
And had it.
And Foster did too?
Foster just had diarrhea.
Fun for you.
Suspicious as fuck. Also, what the fuck? And also, but like, also, I literally just said that Foster never gets diarrhea, and now he has diarrhea. But he had diarrhea for like a few days, and like, not like him. He also, Koda did have a vomiting episode a few nights ago, but it was like one of the normal ones where it's like he vomited and then was like ready to eat it. Like he was
he
was
like, delicious.
Exactly. So that was one of the things, and I have, as far as my coping skills, we're actually pretty decent, pretty proud. This is my dump journal for everything going on with him.
Love that.
This is where I'm putting all of the amazing sweet cards that people have written me so far. People have been so unbelievably kind. Oh, there it is.
Found it.
Sorry, buddy. Okay. So one of my things is the carprofen. At this point, because I've always been like, I don't want to overdo it. Do you feel like we just do it twice a day, period?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't think there's a reason not to.
Okay. Like it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to add. It's like, and it makes them more comfy. It makes them great. We're doing
totally
carprofen twice a day.
Yep.
Okay, that's consistent.
I would say I wouldn't give it to him if he's vomiting.
Okay.
So if he's acting like he has GI stuff, I would stop that first, see if we get the GI under control, because it can sometimes make stomach upset worse.
What about, since we know that when he has an allergy outbreak, he licks it, and then he does his regurgitation thing, which can also cause the vomiting. Should he just be on Pepsid right now?
I don't think it would hurt him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do it like once a day?
Okay.
He's kind of been...
Particularly as we go through the allergy season, because I think it's going to be a pretty bad spring for that.
Okay. I love how you were like, no, I really do
I want, why is he getting things? I'm also lying quietly.
I did correct you a really nice... You have actually a toddler.
Middle child who nobody loves.
Nobody loves you.
Sad.
The worst. Okay, so that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I feel like the Pepsid... I've been trying to do a little bit of smaller meals, so like this is like considered his lunch, if you will. But I try to make sure there's like something on his stomach.
Yeah.
And again, the other night when he vomited, I was like, fuck. And then I was like, okay, this was a normal of your vomiting.
Right.
Episodes.
Not like, oh, now you're real sick.
I also think I think he is like eating faster or some shit because like I think he's actually sometimes I think he vomits because he's like when he vomited, most of the stuff was whole, like the duck heart, and I was like, you normally chew, like I don't like you're like why are you swallowing that? And I'm trying to think. Okay, so the carpro. And then Trazodone.
Yeah.
How do you want me to use the Trazodone? So like last night, it's not like he was being crazy, but like sometimes I think he does seem like he's having a harder time shutting off, or like he's just like I don't know. It could be a little bit in my head. I also think he's probably tuning off me slightly, but like last night I gave both him and Foster just like half a Traz, just to be like.
Yep, like,
and they were already tired, but I was like, let's take this down a notch.
I think that's fine. So Trazodone can be used as needed. The nice thing about it is that it's going to kick in about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and so you know, okay, you're acting pretty on edge, or we're going into a stressful situation, something else is happening. It's fine to use that. It goes fine with his other medications. There's not really a downside, other than maybe he wasn't anxious and now he's just sleepy, and But if you're reading his behavior as anxious or unsettled, I don't think there's a problem with using it. Unless you're like about to go on a long hike, and then they'd be like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do the thing.
What if we just chilled on the couch instead?
I also felt like for him, sometimes the Traz actually helps with the allergies because it just gets him to like not pee.
Not obsessed about it.
Yeah. So like last night, it was kind of like with him having the infection back there, and then this paw thing, which now I'm wondering if he's actually still taking it. So that's, I don't know.
I would soak it. It doesn't like when there's something in there, it's usually like swollen.
Okay.
It doesn't look too swollen, but there is that little.
He's gonna do an Epsom salt soak and then treat it with the.
Totally. That sounds fine.
Treat it like these normal things.
Yep.
You're so tolerant. Everybody said, "Wow, his coat is so lovely. His teeth are so nice.
Yeah.
He's moving well."
Got to meet a bunch of nice people at the hospital, make some students' day by cuddling with them.
Yes. Oh my God, that one student.
Just like this never happened.
I know that. I was like, how often do you guys get like a nice German Shepherd? They were like,
never.
I was like, they were like, nah. I was like, okay.
Great.
He's lovely. He's a lovely fellow. Just the sweetest. Everybody loves you.
He feels good today.
Of course.
Yeah, he feels fantastic.
Okay, actually, that's the conversation we need to have.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, of course, this is also just partially. Wow, you were being ridiculous. I should have like put this something on the like. All right. Do I have anything? Do I have doggy ice cream?
Oh, I think you're mad about that.
Can you not freak out? Can you wait?
Massage your shoulders over here.
Wait.
Okay.
I think I might. Hold on, that would be
No, you gotta stay. She getting for you? She getting stuff? You stay. You stay.
no doggy ice cream, but I do have 10 minutes chill.
Delicious.
Got a little bit. Okay, so here it is, of course. There you go. Okay, so here's one of the biggest conversations I want to have, which is like the thing that I'm having, and you know, I know nobody has ill intentions by any means, but the thing that keeps happening is, you know, me saying all of this, and so many people are like, well, my dog had cancer and got diagnosed and lived several more years, and my dog, and he looks so good, and like, there's moments where I'm like, he does look good, but like, there's not this kid, not where he's at, not with the level of mentality. Like, what are the odds that he? Because that seems like too much hope to like. If he lived for another, great. But like, what?
So
where like
the challenge we have is that lucky you, he has a very unique situation. We don't think we have any other examples of this type of cancer in dogs.
Cool.
A primary kidney melanoma would be the first recorded case described in dogs that we could find.
What was the statistic that you said for people?
There have been 13 cases recorded in people since 1988.
Wait, one more time.
13 in people reported since 1988. Or 18 since 1988, I think.
I was off. I kept saying 8 people since the 70s, so
Yeah.
I was off on my.
Close.
I was
Statistically
off.
within the same number.
Okay.
You know, so like minimal. So we don't know what's going to happen. What we're guessing is based on what melanoma acts like when it's in other places. So the primary way we see melanoma is it shows up as a black mass on the skin, like a human would have a weird mole, and it has a lot of melanocytes in it, so it's a black mass, and then that spreads to places. And melanoma is worse than most skin cancers because it likes to spread to a lot of places.
Okay.
When melanoma shows up in weird places that's not the skin, like sometimes we'll see them in the mouth,
Okay.
So if you have a melanoma on the mouth or mucous membranes elsewhere on the body, those tend to be more aggressive. And so that's bad news bears. When we see one of those, we're like, oh, that's going to be a more aggressive type of melanoma than one on the skin. So we're guessing that one that shows up on the kidney would behave like that because it's not a skin one. But we have exactly zero information to tell you what happens next.
Cool.
So that's where the expectation is coming from.
Right.
When we have seen these in people, they have tended to be the more aggressive type of melanoma because they're in this unusual location. Do we know that's what he has? Not 100%. Could that mass on his wrist be the actual primary melanoma that was 2 cells big when it spread? Maybe. We don't know. So in that case, it would be less aggressive, but still melanoma, so still worse than a primary kidney tumor would normally be. And we know that it's already in multiple locations. So I think that the general message you should internalize is we are in limited time with him. We don't know how long that's going to be. We're going to gauge his time by how well he's doing. And right now he's doing great. Could that change? It could. And partially it's going to depend on the behavior of the tumor, how fast it spreads, and where it spreads. If it kind of stays where it's at, making his kidney do weird things and getting bigger and making his lungs a little bit less efficient, that could go on for a very long time. If it spreads to something that's a lot more vital, like the brain, that would be worse. And we would potentially see signs that would make his cystectomy euthanize faster. So all of it's a bit of an unknown. What we can be thankful for is that he is doing some good and that we caught it when we did, so that we can just focus on him living his best life right now.
Like, it's
and celebrate him and make that the day's focus.
almost nice. Not nice, but you, like, part of me is like, oh, like, it's not, we're not trying to, we're not treating anything because we know this. It's not like now that he has that, I'm not like, what am I going to do? Have poke it? Like, to, like, what, like,
right.
Like, is that the right, because the melanoma, it's like we're not really...
Yeah, so at this point, he is in what we're considering palliative care. So palliative meaning that our treatments are focused on making him feel better,
yep,
rather than on curing the underlying disease. If we were doing that, we'd be talking about, like, major surgeries, chemotherapy, all the stuff that the oncologists talked about that we're like, I don't know if that's the right goal, because we have a low chance of cure for even if we go really aggressive with his treatment. So to that end, we are really just focusing on how do we make Koda feel good today? What do we need to do to make Koda feel good today? And we will make our decisions based on that metric rather than optimal long-term health. Like, we don't know what the long-term is. We're just focusing on the now term.
What do you feel like is the worst case scenario? Do we want to answer that?
I mean, okay, worst case scenario.
Like if I'm looking, so I'm starting to look for a decline. See, this is why you need to be the one who has these conversations with me, because, like, you know me, and you know him, and you know what I mean by that, because you know that I'm going to be extremely obsessive.
Right.
And you know that I'm going to be like, he breathed weird, and you're going to be like, okay, like, we can bring it back. Whereas, like, my people would be like, he's got, like, I feel like that's what I don't want to do, with the, like, every little thing is like, but, like, what are the things? Okay. I know, you done with that?
Of course, I decided to use blue needles on day one with blue blanket.
Oh, yeah,
My own
just
fault.
thoughtful like that.
That's okay.
Thoughtful like that. Oh, they literally are the
I
same
know, right?
fucking color. Like, so yeah, I do the brain thing. Every time I try to be like, well, maybe he does just have a cancer that he'll live with for a while. And then every time I start Googling, it's like, aggressive, bad prognosis, sharp decline. Like, yeah, it's all of those things.
So,
but also I know it's very unknown.
It's unknown partially because, let's say he didn't have his GI episode.
Yeah.
Let's say you weren't the kind of owner that normally does abdominal ultrasounds on your dog.
Yeah.
Your first sign would be the sharp decline. And so that would feel like a shot out of the blue.
Right.
You'd be like, he was fine yesterday. And you would suddenly not be okay. We'd go into the bed and we'd do tests and find problems everywhere.
And then it would have been almost a decision.
Right. And so you would be like, where did this come from? Because you are already so proactive, you are steps ahead of where the average owner would find this. And so what the actual timeline probably looks like is like this for an unknown period of kind of decline and then a sharp decline. But if you were not aware of this time period, this is going to feel really sudden.
Okay. Like, we don't think it's not going to be like this, probably. It's going to be like, he's good, he's good, he's good, and like, oh shit, he's not good.
Yeah, so you can go a really long time having a gigantic mass on your kidney and not have anyone know. When I was a student, we had a dog come into urgent care that they thought had bloat. And we took an x-ray, and he had this giant thing in his abdomen that wasn't his stomach.
Oh.
And so we did ultrasound, and he had a tumor growing off of his kidney probably since a puppy, and now it was 18 pounds.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so like it slowly took up a very large portion of his abdomen. And that didn't kill him. That wasn't a problem. That was just it wasn't cancerous.
It just was a very large.
Right. So he has a small mass in his kidney.
Yeah.
It could be, softball sized before it started making him nauseous or, taking up space that other things need to occupy.
Okay.
So that's not necessarily going to be a problem. Similarly with the lungs, we unfortunately find lung cancer very late in people because it could be very progressed before you find it.
And it's not, you don't have as many options to fuck with it.
Exactly.
And the lungs and...
Exactly. So like, if there's not a obvious problem, like with lung cancer, we eventually get like pneumonia on top of it, and then the pneumonia doesn't get better, and then you take x-rays and you're like, what's that thing? And so it becomes complicated. So he's probably going to be at a higher risk of developing something like a lung infection. So if he were to be coughing snotty around dogs with kennel cough, I would avoid anyways.
Right.
But like
that
there's
would
have
immune
higher
system.
risk for him. So there's a risk that infections could hit him harder because his body's already dealing with other issues. One more is somewhere, and I will find it. Aha! Wasn't even on the blanket. It was on the blanket. So possibility of infections. That could make him more sick, and then we would have to decide how aggressively do we want to treat those infections, depending on how he's doing. If minor infection, fine. Super sick, going septic, we probably would decide what to. If it spreads to the nervous system, that can have a variety of effects. If it goes into the brain, again, usually there's a long period where we don't know it's there, but the brain can only deal with so much swelling because it's in a box. And so if you do get swelling in the brain, you get a seizure. So a seizure would be a bad sign. Not a have to euthanize him today sign, but a sign that this has progressed into a worst case of bad.
Yep.
You could get it in your spinal cord, less likely if he neurologically suddenly decompensated and couldn't walk. Obviously bad. But again, less likely.
Okay. What about like breathing? Because like, of course, he does like his, and I'm like, it's that noise where I'm like,
what is that?
It sends me into just like a what, like, but like he does that and he always does that. But of course now he does it, and I'm
you're like, what does it mean? Yeah. So
what does it mean?
I'm not saying that can't be related to the fact that he has some masses in his lungs, but the masses in his lungs that you show,
he's been moving so well. His separation, all of us joke, like every time he does anything, we're like, look at that separation. Like how he poops is better.
He's like, yeah, I'm super strong.
Like,
I'm the best shape of my life.
I literally do it. Okay, I do a ton of just like.
I know, she's making it really sound.
I do a bunch of just like brushing him and like separate. His back end looks so fucking good. Look at that! Look at that!
Amazing.
Look at it!
He's actually looking very good. So I'm not saying that it can't be related to his lungs. The lung masses are really far back.
Okay.
And so they're not... Hey! Oh, I didn't realize the train's like right there.
Oh, it's like right there.
Right there.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
The effect of those masses are not going to be as much on his throat or the areas that are going to make him want to cough. So that's probably his normal, whatever.
Shepherdy allergy shit.
What I would expect to see more likely as the lung masses progress would be what we call exercise intolerance. So that's like you know, he gets winded doing things that normally he would not get winded doing.
Okay.
So it looks like, why are you so out of shape? You
Like,
know,
that's not something like that wasn't that much exercise for
exactly.
him to be
Like walking up the stairs and he's like, ooh,
Okay.
ooh, like I'm just not able to pull that oxygen in as well as I used to. So I think that's what you're going to see more than coughing, until it becomes like really obvious. If he's coughing all the time, then obviously something else is going on.
Look at the tail. Look at the tail.
I don't think you're going to see any signs associated with the kidney mass.
Okay.
Again, like
the
it's
kidney is not what I'm.
probably not.
Okay.
You know, he could lose an entire kidney and be fine. Like we could have taken out that whole kidney. So
Yeah.
the fact that it might be functioning a little bit less, it's kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
You're doing really well.
He's strong, boy.
So strong.
He's so strong.
So-
And isn't it like?
Good.
Oh, so that was another thing, which like is hard to hear because it's like I know, but it's also I don't think that's the thing to fuck with. Is people were saying to one of the vets was saying to take him off the Apoquel, and I was like, because it's like an immune suppressant, and like all the reasons that I've never wanted him on Apoquel to begin with, but at the same time, like we've tried to take him off of it. It keeps him comfortable. How much is that negatively affected?
This is where we get back to the what is our goal right now.
Yeah.
In palliative care, our goal is his comfort.
Yep.
I think that if we took him off of the Apoquel or took him off of Cytopoint and his allergy stuff, he will feel significantly worse. And even if that makes him live a month longer, but he has to spend the entire time covered in sores,
not worth it.
I don't want that.
Like, and I just feel like we know that he's 4 times I've tried to take him off of it. He like sharply declines, and even though like I feel like honestly, even though we're in the worst allergy season, I feel like his allergies are so well in check right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, and also for him to have this open and not to have like infected any of it is
Yep,
really
he hasn't
good.
like licked it.
He does
so-
have. Yeah, you can feel he's got scabs on there. So I'm planning on getting those treated. Like I'll soak them in the shampoo and then.
So again, like we're not going for most aggressive after the cancer. We're going for making him feel good, and we know that when his allergies are bad, his inflammation is up, he moves less well, everything kind of goes downhill. So I would vote against that idea of taking
anybody
him
you know.
off of the Apoquel. The vets are going to say that because there's probably a label recommendation on Apoquel that says do not give the dogs that have cancer. We can have a conversation about that and make informed decisions. It's not like it's illegal.
Right.
You know, like no one's gonna get us.
We're in trouble.
But it's just a matter of what's in their best interest.
What about the carprofen adding support, the Pepsid, and I think like both of those are not really like it makes sense to me to have the carprofen regularly for this stage. The Pepsid like doesn't really negatively affect things for him. It just is helping the acid reflux, which he just does anyway. Nice buddy. Wow.
We're now realizing that we don't want dogs on Pepsid like their whole life. We used to
Yeah.
do that with some dogs, just because like, oh, they might be stressed.
Okay.
But again, we want him to feel good.
And didn't we had him on it for like 6 months there for a period where he was just doing his
I would feel totally fine to have a dog on Pepsid for a couple of years in a row. So like I'm not.
So Pepsid.
I wouldn't do
that's
it with
on
like a
board.
puppy and have them on their entire life, but
with all of the supplements that he's on, is there anything about those where like, of course I deep dive, but like Myos obviously staying on that for his muscle. I'm waiting to hear back to have a conversation with Keeney because he's almost out of his herbal blends, but I don't know if she wants to modify any of that for
Sure.
any reason. So I'm waiting to hear back from her on that, but like he's running. Oh, good job.
see, you gotta swallow it.
He's running low on that, so like I need to get those soon. Like should I be doing like the Vetri Source hip joint supplement that he's on? They have a kidney one. Like it's not really we're just shooting at.
I don't know that he needs the kidney one because he doesn't have chronic kidney disease, which is probably
Okay.
what that's aimed at.
Oh, okay.
Again, you have like an extra special weird thing. So he doesn't have his disease is not because his kidneys aren't functioning well, which is typically what the kidney support is aimed at. We could consider medicinal mushrooms.
Oh, I did it. Okay. He's on. I got like a turkey tail supplement. but like I don't know if I should like. Do you have one that you recommend? Something that's going to be a little bit more potent, stronger.
Yes, but I haven't prescribed it
high.
since. I haven't prescribed it recently, and it was like a local Boulder one, and I don't know. Oh,
Hi.
I'm sorry.
Hello. Hi.
Excuse me.
Hi.
I haven't like checked in if they like survived pandemic and all that stuff. So
Okay.
let me look into that, and I'll see if the brand that I like is still available. So all of this with a caveat. He has a very special, unique cancer, so I have exactly 0 data on it, and there is not even any data from people that I can extrapolate from. So we're kind of extrapolating from like cancer generally, which is a very broad, murky, and biologically unstable idea.
Sick. Cool.
But the idea with the mushrooms is that they can help stimulate the immune system, and the immune system is fighting the cancer.
Okay.
So I don't think there's a bad side to trying to do that.
Is this what we had said? I think this was the discussion initially with somebody. All the conversations are blended together, but about like we were talking about like the chemo, how it's killing also good cells.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with like me giving him like antioxidant stuff. Is that's feeding good cells and bad cells, right? I mean, that's a really dumb way to say that, but like.
No, I get what you mean.
I'm like, am I trying for immune stuff and like trying to make sure I'm not feeding it, but I mean, like, I kind of do that anyway. It's not like he gets sugar. It's not like
Right.
he gets.
Yeah, he's already on kind of what you would aim a dog for is like, okay, let's take out ultra processed stuff. You know, like he has such a clean diet compared to your average dog. Like, no more milk bones for you, buddy.
Right.
I
was like, there's not really anything else I can like take out of this.
Right. Like he's already doing very good. He's on a whole
Okay.
food diet that is like,
Samuel.
well balanced for him. So I would say more focused on about Samuel getting some love. So I would just say focused on making sure he's getting enough food.
Okay.
And I like the idea of splitting his food into meals.
Okay.
If we are seeing any nausea, let's treat that proactively.
Okay.
He seems really nauseous today.
So not hungry at all.
The immune system stuff will not benefit the cancer.
It's more just keeping his overall body in good.
Yeah. So it's more about like, what can we do to maximize your health, which is what you've been doing anyways. Like we've already been really focused on that for his life, which is why he's as in good shape as he is now, and this isn't affecting him that much.
Yeah.
So the thing to keep in mind is the body only has, 100 units of energy to throw at anything, right? And so some of his body is working on the cancer right now, which means that he has less energy to throw at other things. So if we take a lot of that energy and put it on allergies, then we don't have as much to focus on the cancer and maintaining his body.
So basically, it's like, yeah, if he's not inflamed, if he's not itching, I'm totally okay to use the Animax on that topic too.
Yeah.
And again, that's actually my fault for not doing that sooner. But
yeah, so like whatever we can do to like limit the amount of stress the rest of the body is dealing with, then the body can focus on, keeping that at bay.
Okay.
To the extent that it can.
Yeah. See what the amanidine.
Yes.
Are we going to be using that in any more of a way? Like if he's more uncomfortable doing twice?
He can go to twice daily if you feel like he's sore.
Okay.
There's absolutely no risk with that. That's the normal dosing range.
Okay.
I usually just start once a day because we can get away with it and that's easier.
Yep.
So if he needs twice a day, we can go to that. Let me know if you need that, and I can always prescribe more so you don't have to get it shipped to you so frequently.
Okay.
And
we can just do that as needed, potentially adding the mushroom supplement.
Yeah.
Is there any... He's a literal monster. Nope, he's back to himself. This is Samuel. This is Samuel. Sam's like,
what about Samuel?
What about Samuel? I'm here and I can do so many impressive things. What do you want, Dr. Verdon? What do you want?
Can you...
Is there any limit... Sam, find it. Is there any limitations at this moment that you would be like, don't... Sam, up. Sam, up. Wait. Is there any limitations at this moment? And then what I've been trying to do, people are showing up in such incredible ways. And Virginia started like a Spot Me fund so that like, so fucking kind, and that's, if anything like the crowds, be that. Like, people have been amazing. And like the whole thing is me being able to take time off so that I can like really dedicate as much time as possible to him. Like at this moment, that is my goal. It's just very hard to do as things are
Because
right now.
life.
Yeah, literally. Good job.
What was that?
Yeah, But
Otherwise, I don't care.
you know, like, okay, I really. So you and I kind of had that conversation. It's so funny because, of course, I can have this conversation with people, but God forbid I have it with myself. Of like literally me yesterday with somebody being like, "Your dog is happy being with you." And I was like, "Oh fuck, that's what my vet system is." Like, you know, he doesn't know if he's going to get to go to the ocean again or not. That's not something that's affecting him. It's more of a me thing.
Right.
He doesn't care if he gets to go to Moab or not. Would I love to do that with him? I would, but also like. At this point in time, with the little that we can know with the guarantee and stuff of that, do you think that I am on... I'm not asking this articulately. Like, do you think I could take him on a trip in May, or that's going to be too... Is it going to be a... Like, is it risky to take him somewhere and then he does do a sharp decline when we're somewhere else? Is it like... Is there anything...
Daggers.
I know, it's just like, what the fuck? I promise, I have a towel for you in the freezer.
So you're drooling.
Your life's hard, I feel bad for you. Yeah, stress on, that's fine. Like, you know, because I'm sitting here like, there's no time, and he could start to decline in weeks, and he's feeling good now, so I have to monopolize on that, but like, I don't want to overdo it, but then I like don't want to not do things.
I think...
You know?
I think we don't know. Okay. First of all, there is... this is one of those, I wish we had a magic ball that would, like, magic 8 ball that would tell us exactly what we wanted to know. However, I don't think it's wrong to be optimistic. Okay. And I think that that's not something people talk about a lot around cancer. You know, they're like, prepare for the worst, and you're like, I'm already there,
I'm
man.
there, dude! I'm there!
I'm in the worst. But I don't think there's a problem with being optimistic. Okay. And if it doesn't happen the way you hope and plan, that could happen at any time. You know, like, you could plan to go to Moab and have everything lined up, and then, you know, a snowstorm hits and closes I-70 and you can't even get to Utah. Yeah. Like, regardless of how you plan, something might get in the way. But I think it's reasonable to be optimistic. I think it's reasonable, given this dog that is in front of me, I think he could go to Moab in May. Okay. I don't think you need to go tomorrow. It's not like he's on death's door where we're, like, racing to Moab before sunset. Okay.
That's good. I feel like I'm, like, somebody said, and they said it in a good way, where they were like, I think Kara seems, like, paralyzed by, like, planning, because I'm like, I have to do it now, but I'm not ready to do it now.
So,
like, you know, where I'm like, I don't want to, but I also, like, he's feeling good, and I'm like, I want to take advantage of the fact that he feels good now, but then how do I do all the other things? Like, people are like, you going to Moab this weekend? I'm like, dude, I need new tires on my car needs to go into the shop, like, there's so many things that need to happen, but then I'm like, would I be able to live if I don't do a thing? And, like, he feels good now. I think it'd be so fun to take him, and I can take him and Sam for, like, so anyway, but again, I'm like, I'm trying to separate the, like, people in me and me having this idea versus, like, I know he's happy when he's with me, because I'm like, you know, part of me is like, do I think I'm really going to make it to the ocean with him again? No, I'm kind of letting that go. I don't know that that's, and I also, part of me is like, I'd rather be here with, like, you know, I'd rather...
Let me say, there are... no matter how much you do with him, it would be great if you could do one more thing.
Yeah.
There is not going to be a maximum amount of things that you do with Koda, and you're like, that's plenty. I don't want to go anywhere or do anything else with him. That was it. That was enough. Like, there are going to be things that, you know, 10 years from now, you're like, I wish I could have done that with Koda. Wouldn't it be like, I still think this of my dog who has passed, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if Crumpet could meet this kid? You know, like, that would be so cool. So it's not like, you're not going to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
What I think you should focus on is, what's something big that we can look forward to? Let's set that Moab trip at a time when it will not stress you out to go on it, because this Moab trip is about you. He doesn't know he's going to Moab. So if you're excited to go to Moab, he's excited to be with you, everyone's happy. If you're setting Moab as this thing that you are, like, beating yourself to get to, then it's not going to be fun, he's not going to have a good time, it's not going to be a good experience. So let's be optimistic. Let's say we're doing Moab in X part of May.
Okay.
And let's plan for that. Let's get you situated to do that so that it feels both feasible and fun. And then that's the longer term goal. Short term goal, you wake up every day and say, all right, what are we doing with Koda today that's going to be fun for Koda?
Yeah.
Like, what is the thing I'm doing? Like in your little journal, say like, okay, today we are going to do a long sniff walk. We're going to go play with a friend that he likes. We're going to go on that hike that he enjoys. Or, you know, it's a really busy day, so he's just going to be hanging out with me, and I'm going to give him a special treat. That's what I think we need to focus on. Because for him, he's gonna be like, oh, positive thing. Oh,
Yeah.
positive thing. Every day's great. Every day's great. Oh my god, we're in Moab? No way.
Literally, this dog is having such a fucking, like, every time I'm a fucking mess, I, like, look at people, I'm like, we don't feel bad for Koda. Like, Koda's having
Koda's
a great fucking
fine.
time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, is he okay? I'm like, at this moment, he's fucking fine.
Yeah,
like,
he's fine. You're a mess.
I am not okay.
Yeah.
But this dog is
Oh,
fucking,
baby.
right? Put your fucking dick in it.
I'm just so happy. I'm having a
He
good
is so-
day.
And like, he's like, he wants actually. Sorry, sidebar. I was thinking because I mean this would be the last time, and I haven't taken him to one. Is I have a career talk, and he's been so social and such like just an attention whore that I'm like, I think we're gonna bring Koda.
Yeah.
Like I usually don't, but
Yeah.
I was like, I think we're gonna bring him. Like,
You get to talk
um,
to everybody.
you go talk to the students.
I love
That's
students.
so fun. You are.
Yeah, so I think like
So
I
it's
don't
like-
think there's a problem with that.
Like planning for like a trip because I think I was like I think I kept getting stuck on that he could decline in a few weeks, so I have to do things now, and I was like, fuck. But like if I can plan out a little bit,
Right, because I
and
mean
I'm
like
not-
we don't know where we are on this slope. Could he crash tomorrow? Yes, and then your plans for next week wouldn't matter anyways. So like
Yep.
we don't know.
we don't know.
But I think that we are probably in the earlier phases of this because he's not showing clinical signs that he is in stress.
Yeah.
You know, my vet brain is not saying this is a dog we need to worry about in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Could something change? Absolutely.
Right.
Things are unknown.
Right.
In which case, it doesn't matter and your plans are moot.
Actually, would you like to hear a quote from? I had a
Yes.
we called it the super secret ladies meeting, and it was
Yay.
just like all of my wise women,
Mhm,
and they just had coffee with me and we hung out. But this was one of the quotes, and I was like, "It's fucking amazing." Mary goes, she goes, "Well, you know what I always like to say, Cara, the best laid plans get fucked."
Exactly. So, like, make a plan, look forward to it, have that as something to work towards, but also recognize that the plan is a plan. And we can't manifest the future we want because if we could, he would never die.
Exactly. And there's really, and the hard part is like, we truly don't know. I'd be thrilled if he does better, longer, but I also don't want to catastrophize and be. I mean, I do that technically anyway.
You don't want to.
It's
but
not.
you're
It's
gonna.
actually like now. It's just not funny anymore, Jordan. When I was like, he's dying, and you're like, is he really? I'm like, well, now he really is. But now it's like, but again, then he looks like this every fucking day, and I'm like, I don't. You're okay. But then I want to be prepared. But then I don't want to be like. But I also don't want to be lax and be like, oh, he's doing good, and then I look back and be like, wow, I didn't prioritize him.
So that's why I think, like, each morning wake up, I would write down 3 good things. Like, things that are positive about him or the world or whatever. I know. You could say, it
The
is a
world?
lovely warm day. Thank God we live in Colorado. You know, like,
I'm like, oh, okay. Whoa,
I enjoy
realistic.
coffee. Yeah. You know,
True.
like,
There is
they can be small
coffee
things.
exists. Okay,
One of my
cool.
good things is often I enjoy hot dogs and I kind of like small attainable
Small
goals.
thing. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, write down 3 good
Okay.
things and then write down what are we doing for Koda today.
Like, what are the things that
Mhm.
Koda got to do today?
And we're just keeping it at that because if that's where your focus is, then you are nailing palliative care.
I need to be more on the. But I'm still getting so stuck on the planning where it's like, this is what he got to do today. Like,
Mhm.
He got to hang out with his favorite friends.
Yeah.
He got to go to a client where he got to correct their doodle like 10 times. And he thought
Yeah.
that was great. And then he got to hang out with
you. Got to be the boss.
We took 8 dogs over to the coffee shop, and like we just like literally the owner, we just let them all loose and like run at him. Like he got to hang out with you. Like he's already had a really big day.
Mhm. He's having a great time. So like that's what we need to focus on. And if it's a good day, great. If it wasn't a good day because we were vomiting, it was a bad allergy day, you know, we were stuck inside, the question is, what plans do we need to put in place today to make tomorrow a good day?
What plants were there? What, in regards to that actually, so since he is, one of my other fears is like the whole like, well, he's doing so good and he wants to do so much. He hasn't seemed to do this, but like him overdoing it, right? Where like, I'm very aware of it, but like, would you say that that's something where like, I should make sure that I'm aware of,
I am no more concerned about that now than I was before.
Okay.
He's still
That's-
an older shepherd that has some orthopedic disease, and that's probably what's going to make him tired if you overdo it.
Okay.
Where he's like, I did a lot of wrestling and running and swimming, and now I'm very tired, and my back is a bit sore.
Okay.
And then we give him his medications. It's all the things we would have normally done.
Okay. Like that hasn't really changed.
No.
Okay.
Hi.
And then God, I feel like I had written down more things, and now I'm like, fuck.
You wanted to talk a bit about end of life, Carrie. I don't know if you want the camera.
I did want to do that.
You're like, I do not want to do that.
I don't want to do
Shut your
that.
face
Actually, I actually fucking
I
don't
would like
want
to
do
actively
that.
avoid that.
I don't want to do that. Oh, this is just kind of like a dumb sidebar. It's
Mhm.
not dumb, but like, do you think he's never been a dog who's been negatively affected by like the cold or heat?
Mhm.
Do you expect that to change? Because I was thinking about one of the things I'm most sad about was like I was really looking forward to us doing a lot of camping, and part of my plan for May was, depending on how he's doing like 2-night camping trips just up in the mountains. But part of me was like, should I be more concerned about him being a little bit more cold or not regulating his body temperature as much?
Not necessarily. Other than he has this big window in his fur, which
Yeah.
will make him cold. I wouldn't. Maybe at like end of life when we're having trouble breathing, that he might have a harder time panting. But we will have more conversations before we get there.
Okay, so end of
We're
life stuff.
talking
Where are we
about
at on? What are we at on time? Samuel.
We're good. Yes, we're good.
Okay. Well, live your life then, Sam. Okay. I'm